How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another race. This is the 2025 Ardmore Rock and Ride Criterium, and this is the 4-5 field, and that is me up front. Excellent starting position, completely by accident. I actually have a couple teammates in this race as well, so if we cut to the Josh cam, Josh, I was warming up with him actually, and Bill's in this race as well. So two more teammates, and they did not get the greatest starting position. It was purely by accident. I had to stop and pee before the race and coming through the finish line, and I was, they were doing the first call. So, front and center, literally center on the line, ready to go. And couldn't have asked for a better starting position, and it makes a big difference. So the start itself, sort of the clip in, I think was okay. Like, it was decent. It was okay. You see my buddy Mike there gets a really nice clip in. If we cut back to Josh, he does not get the greatest clip in, but kind of makes up for it. Smashes like over 1,000 watts to make up a bunch of wheels on this corner, and sort of dive bombs a bunch of people, and it's kind of like right there. So jump back up to me, and I'm like, what, fifth wheel, something like that. It's pretty impressive. Like, I'm not used to this in a crit. It does not happen to me normally. So I was a bit surprised, but also surprised at how smooth the first lap went. It makes a pretty big difference being up front. Like I said, I'm not used to it, it was. It felt not. Kind of felt easy. I'm used to hammering. So it was great. We'll get to the course and everything in a bit, but I was really excited for this race. I did it last year and really liked it, so I really wanted to do well, and wanted to hold wheels here. The kid on the right sort of trying to push me off a bit, but that's that's his right. And so I was looking good, kind of coming into this first lap, and there's even a point, I think, on this first lap, coming up this finishing straight here, that I don't have a rear camera, but I sort of close this gap here, and then I shout to the kid in front of me and say, look, we have a gap behind us. If you want to roll, with this little group, let's go now. And nobody really does, but that's all right. Anyway, so I'm feeling pretty good. So if we cut back to Josh, who he's also kind of in the pack, but there's definitely more more traffic through here. So he's definitely having to think about his lines and make sure that no gaps and everything. And sort of first incident happens on this turn number 2. So you'll see the QCW rider on the left just takes it wide and kind of nearly wipes out, clips the barriers a couple times there. So good thing he was okay. But jump back up to me, and kind of just chilling in the front. I'm doing my thing. But it was kind of around this point where the field sort of started to catch up to us. So they do, kind of gradually pull us back, and a couple little close calls like there. And I kind of get a little cut out at one point, coming up here into, what is this, the fourth corner, I guess? Fourth corner? Yeah. This was a funny little corner here. But those two sort of touch wheels and stuff going up there. But they actually apologized to each other, so that was all right. And yeah, so like I said, I was looking forward to this race. Did it last year and I did okay. I finished it. One of the few races last year that I finished. So I think the course suits me pretty well. You can see the profile up there on the right is pretty rolly. There's some hills, sort of some up and down. So for me, it's definitely suits me as a smaller rider, and not super technical. It's, I guess, billed as like 6-corner, but yeah, I mean, a couple of the corners are just like sweepy, so nothing too exciting. And yeah, but it's got some cool features, and we'll get into those in a little while here. But another little touch over there on the right. Wow. There were a surprising number of crashes, and we're coming up on one now. And you'll see it. I'll try to flip back to Josh's cam after it happens, because it happens pretty quickly in front of me, and then you'll see the sort of aftermath in Josh. So if we quickly flip back to Josh now, so he's just behind me on the road, and then obviously it's quite a bit harder back there. It's closing gaps and things. So it's coming into this corner. So you see I get a little bit pinched there, but I doing a pretty good job, I guess, of following wheels and closing gaps when I need to. But it's right about here. So the guy on the left, sort of a little wide, and then just loses it. Like, you'll see Josh zips by and he's like on the ground. So I don't quite know what happened. Just kind of lost the wheel, I guess. It didn't seem like anything too sketchy was going on. But that's just just how it goes, I guess. So I think the next few laps are pretty uneventful. So what I can do is, maybe just chat about the course here as we're going through the start-finish line. So through the finish line here, and it's pretty flat going into corner number 1, and then it takes a pretty sharp downhill, and it's like under a railroad track, so you sort of zip down, and it's pretty bumpy. There's like a bunch of manhole covers there, and then into corner number 2, which there were a couple wrecks through, which was surprising. This is pretty wide, but it's also really bumpy as well. Like, it changes pavement, and yeah, there's some bumps going on in there. So I guess I could see why it was a little bit tricky. Then into the backstretch, this sort of like shopping district, there's a couple crosswalks and things like that, and you'll see one of those comes into play a little bit later. And sort of like dubious like barrier placement there, sort of like cuts in, which is a little weird. But coming into, I guess, would be like corner 3-ish, which was a pretty tight right-hander. And there's a couple bumps there as well, which cause a little bit of havoc. And then, sweepy here, and then into probably the sharpest corner of the course, which is corner 5, I guess. It was like a 6 corner. This is corner like 5-ish. But the goal here was to like try to carry as much speed as possible, because now you go over the railroad tracks. So we're sort of on an overpass, and it's like pretty sharp uphill. You can see on the profile, like, it's pretty sharp uphill there. But it doesn't last very long, just a few seconds. Then this like really fast downhill sweepy turn, which obviously I don't take quite so well in most cases. But sort of right hand turn there, and then it's like a slightly gradual hill up a little bit, and then it like flattens out right before the finish line. There was also a headwind on this straightaway here, which was kind of annoying. I think the other thing is there's just like rumble strips in the middle of the road, which are also really annoying. Affects you much more on a bike than it does on a car, which is kind of frustrating. You had to sort of like jump back and forth between the two. But I don't think it causes any issues. It's just annoying. So yeah, that's the course. It's a pretty cool like layout, pretty cool like atmosphere that they got going on. There's like bands playing in a couple stages and things like that. So yeah, I mean, like overall, it's a fun race. I guess they advertise it as technical, but it's not super technical. I do try to tail gun a bit at some points, just to conserve some energy. But overall, it's you can move up, but only in a couple of spots. So maybe that's why it's technical. What was I gonna say? So yeah, I mean, coming off my camera, we switch over to Josh's cam, which has kind of slipped upwards a little bit, so you're looking sort of at the sky. You can see the field sort of strung out in front of him, and the kind of coming up this hill here. I don't think you can see me up in the distance, so you might be able to just see me. I'm going around that corner now. But coming up this hill here, you see that it seems like Josh is like tailing off a bit. It's like a fairly big gap in front of him, and I'm sure he was thinking that he should try to close this gap down, but actually he does like a really good job this next lap of making sure that he doesn't get gapped off the back. He's like super smooth through the corners, and I think that's one of the main takeaways I think that I have with the course is that if you were by yourself or if you were in the front, you could take the corners at speed, really smooth. You'll see, there's a pretty big gap here, but Josh is able to take it, sort of choice line through that corner, carry the speed through here. I don't even think he's pedaling much, and he's like back on terms with everybody. So it was like super smooth through there, and he's like back on. So that's my main takeaway anyway with the course. Like, yeah, if you could take the right lines, you could take it much faster than the group can do, because the group was they were breaking through every corner, which was a little frustrating, and it was a little bit tricky to like maintain your speed and everything. So again, he's like making up wheels, not pedaling at all through that corner. So I mean, it's like good for him to be able to like maintain contact on that. Jump back over to me, and I'm sort of chilling. Like we're doing doing work to stay with the bunch, but it's not too bad. If we take a look at some of my stats, I average like 3.3-ish watts per kilo for the race, which is it's working for me, but not definitely not like at my max. I normalize 3.6, which is getting closer to that max, but I think it starting in the front and sort of staying up there made a big difference. So kind of a funny not fun. Well, not funny, haha, but like maybe surprising situation coming up. So on this back stretch, like I was saying, it was like a shopping, sort of shopping district area. And yeah, for some reason, a car got on the course. So it was a little, a little nerve-wracking because you don't expect it. You see me closing a little bit of gap there. So I did do some work closing gaps, but right about here, people were yelling like, car, and I was like, you're talking about a car like it's a closed course. Sure enough, yeah, we come through here, and there's literally a car like right on the course. You see, turns off on Josh's cam, and like, yeah, sort of neutralizes that race a little bit. Gives a chance for it to bunch back up. Which was, sort of kind of annoying, but yeah, it happens, I guess. People shouting as well, shouting along the way. So it's around about this point, actually, that Josh ends up sort of getting up to this main group, and you can see I am up there somewhere. But you'll see him probably on this back stretch, sort of maintain touch with the back end of my group. And I had thought that it was the lead group. Turns out there was actually like a motorcycle going by us as well, which is slightly strange. But it turns out there were a couple riders that had broke off the front pack. So you can see me there over there on the left, 505. And I'm sort of just chilling there. And Josh has made the ground up, and also communicated with me saying that he was there, which is awesome. Because it was around about this time that I was feeling tired. Like I was starting to get pretty tired, and there were obviously other people that were also getting tired. So he ends up like closing some gaps down, which is great. So you can see him. See him here, and I think it's probably around this point. If you flip back over to me, Josh is there, yeah. So it's probably around this point where he ends up like closing a couple gaps for me. Maybe inadvertently for me, but I am, letting him know that I'm on his wheel. So it was, really the perfect time for me, because I was hurting at this point. So it was, good to work together, especially now. So, so what really happens? So there's not like a whole lot of things that happen for the next few laps, I don't think. So what I'll do is probably let this play a little bit, and then kind of catch back up in a few minutes. Okay, and yeah, so back here, and we'll maybe take it to the end. Shout out to the QCW rider in front of me. That is Ben. We chatted after the race, and yeah, he said, actually during the race, he asked if I had a YouTube channel. I said, yeah, definitely. So it's kind of fun to hear that other people actually watch this, watch these videos that I make. So it's kind of cool. So shout out to him, and if anybody else comes up to me, there was somebody else also that come up to me after the 3-4 race, CS fellow rider. I forget your name, sorry, but yeah, I mean, like, if you do recognize me or anything in any other races, yeah, feel free to come up and chat. And also, if you do enjoy this stuff, I don't mean to be like that guy, but like, if you do watch and enjoy these things, like, hit the subscribe button. So it does actually mean a lot. So all right, so I am now back on Josh's wheel, and we are, what are we coming up? So like a little over halfway, more than halfway. So we got about 5 laps to go. And I mean, I guess I'm feeling okay. Like, I'm tired, but like feeling decently fresh. Like, at this point, I think I was thinking, like, yeah, like I can probably probably make it to the end, which is exciting. But what I didn't know, like, at the time, is if there was a breakaway or not. So as like we're coming up on this lap, I think everybody, I mean, we don't set up, I guess, but coming up to this finishing straight, and I think Ben, who I was just talking about, I think he's kind of in this pack as well, so he's probably right behind me, and we kind of like bunch up a little bit, and I think I asked at one point, like, is there a breakaway? And people don't really know, so like I didn't actually know that there were 2 riders up the road until, was it maybe this lap or the next lap through, the announcers is like, oh, and then this group is fighting for the last podium spot. And it was like, oh, so I guess there is a breakaway up the road, which was a little bit surprising, but it's good. Yeah, good for them. So it did end up being two riders that like got off the front of the pack and held off for the win. So yeah, good on them. And let's see. So Josh is still right up there, but at this point, it's probably on this lap, I end up making the pass on him and kind of closing or trying to close some stuff down for him. So if we switch back over to Josh's cam, he's also trying to be like super smooth through the corners, and that was probably the key to this race. Like, you could tail gun a bit, and just take the corners faster and make up all that extra ground, and you'll see in a bit, because I actually do, Josh and Bill do as well, the 3-4 race later, and I do a lot more tried to do that a lot more, because I'm much more tired in that race, but so that's, yeah, it was a trick that you could use. I think it was just a matter of making sure that the people in front of you didn't get those big gaps. So let's see if we jump back over to my camera. It's probably about now that I come by Josh, and I do ask him, if he's feeling okay, and kind of tell him to jump on, and we can try to try to work together and move up a little bit. And he does that. So back to his cam, you can see me up there, and he jumps on. So he also does a good job of communicating when he is like on my wheel, which is great. I think that's a big teammate plus. Just knowing that you have somebody that is like working for your best interest as well. If they're behind you, I think that makes a big difference. So I guess he does lose my wheel a little bit, but he does get it back because he does shout and say like, "Hey, I'm back on your wheel." So yeah, but that's a big teammate plus. Just having people that will communicate with you and can work with you as well. So yeah, it's fun to do it with a group of guys. So all right, yeah. So he jumps back on here. And you see, I'm not pedaling at all. Like lots of tail gunning here. Maybe not tail gunning, but sort of like mid pack gunning, if that's a thing. And let's see. So coming up, we'll flip back to me. Coming up, what? 3 or 4 laps to go, and still feeling okay. It's probably this lap. So this lap I feel, or maybe the next lap. I feel like it's maybe my chance, because I'm feeling okay. I'm not much of a sprinter, but I guess I feel like this is probably coming down to that bunch sprint. You can see me here on the left. What I'm doing? Oh, just trying to avoid those rumble strips. But I really felt like this was the only sort of this spot here, where it's like a flat after the start-finish line, was one of the areas where you could make up some wheels without doing too much work, because people were trying to survive after the hill. After that, the hill leading up to the line, and then it kind of flattens out, and so I think that's kind of the area where I would try to make up some wheels without doing massive amounts of work. You could definitely make up wheels on the hill if you were willing to put out the power effort, but sometimes obviously that's not kind of not exactly worth it. So yeah, I mean, that's where I found the most sort of bang for your buck, if you will. And so if we jump back to me, this time through the line, we'll have 2 laps to go, and I'm thinking that this is a time where I probably should have thrown in some sort of attack or effort, if I really wanted a shot at actually actually competing to to be the first in this group, which is really third. But this it's sort of this time through, and I don't know if that's surprising, but I guess what I was thinking is that I can't I can't out sprint anybody, so I'm making up wheels here, doing 200 watts, which is for me that's a decent amount of power. But right there, I should have zipped around him and followed on the left. I should have just made up those wheels, and then I would have been at the front of that pack. But for me, that's probably where I could potentially like win a race coming up to the end. Like, I'm not going to win a race in a sprint, in like a dead sprint. So I'm thinking, probably a couple laps to go. But look, I'm new. I'm new at the whole finish, thing. Like, I don't typically do the finishes. Actually, we'll cut back to Josh. There's you'll see there's some sketchy maneuvering going on. People sort of weaving in and out. But people are like already kind of attacking, like, he's like getting gapped. So yeah, there's definitely people that were thinking probably the same thing as me. So if you flip up to me, you'll see the same that same rider sort of zip up. So yeah, I mean, there are definitely people thinking the same thing. Like, they don't want it to come down to that bunch sprint, but it does. Spoiler alert, it does come. Well, the last place on the podium does come down to the bunch sprint. So let me. What I can do is. Actually, there's probably one more event that happens. Not this lap, but the next lap. So yeah, I'll let it play a little bit, and then kind of catch up at the last lap to go. All right, and coming in the last lap to go here, and I guess I'm feeling fine at this point. Feeling okay, but I'm also feeling like I probably don't have it in me to give it like 100% on the sprint. I'm also probably thinking like I don't really want to mix it up in the front because I'm just not comfortable with it yet. I don't really know, but I'm doing okay, and kind of excited just to sort of be in it. That doesn't happen for me very often, so I was pretty excited about that. Sort of to be in this, in this group. I think my goal was to kind of just see how many wheels I could make up, like on the last straightaway. Like I wasn't quite willing, after seeing a couple of crashes, wasn't quite willing to risk like dive bombing corners and stuff to get in the best position, which, as a racer, it sort of shames me to say, but I think at the time I was just happy to be in it. So there was an incident here coming up this hill, which was a bit surprising. So maybe a little touch of wheels, but you'll see sort of rider down there, sort of people shout and everything. No idea what happened. Maybe a touch of wheels and somebody just went down, but sort of caused a little bit of chaos. And then, immediately you're into the final straightaway, and I put in a pretty good effort, I think. It's a longer straightaway than it seems, and it is uphill at the beginning, so I put in a big, pretty good effort, and I passed some riders coming up to the line here, so I was happy with that. I roll in sort of mid-pack-ish in this pack, and I end up getting 17th out of over 50, so I will definitely take that. And then, sort of immediately, we are into the Cat 3-4. And this race, I do not have a very good starting position. I do not get lucky enough, as in the previous race, to be at the very front. And that's okay. I really didn't think that I was going to have a whole lot left for this race, and turns out I didn't. I did not have a lot left, which is, kind of a bit of a bummer. So the goal was to try to work for our teammate Ray. See me give a thumbs up to Mike's Rick here and there. So my goal was to try to work for our teammate Ray, who's a Cat 3, and he did not do the 4.5, obviously, so we were trying to get him in the best starting position. And unfortunately, it doesn't really work out. Like, there's not a whole lot left in my legs, unfortunately. I do okay for the first few laps, but this will be a much faster recap than the 4.5. I only last maybe 15 or 20 minutes, but really it's only the first few laps. You see Josh over there on the right as well is in this race, and you can definitely see how much of a difference the starting position makes, because I'm like, hammering to stay on. You see Ray up, who started ahead of us, is like multiple wheels up. But I think at this point, like, I feel okay. And I was a little bit surprised that there were a couple of crashes in this race as well. Not on the first lap, but you'll see coming up on the second lap, and that's kind of the only reason why I threw this video in here also, is to take a look at these crashes. So you can see the field, I think, is a little bit smaller in the 3-4, but you can see how they, like, in terms of how they go around the corners and things, it was faster. So not a whole lot faster. I think the 4.5 race, so I averaged like 24.5 miles per hour. The 3.4, the first part of it anyway, it was like 24.7. So yeah, I mean, it was a bit faster. Power wise, I also do, I kind of do about 10 watts more average and normalized. So I do have to put out a bit more power in order to stay. And maybe that's because I was in the back, but I think is also, yeah, I mean, it's just the caliber of racing is just better. So, first incident comes, so corner number 2, I am, kind of not in the greatest position. You see Bill here making a cameo in front of me, and then I jump on his wheel, and around this second corner here, somewhere somebody hits the barrier, I think. He ends up like kind of slamming on the brakes with a fishtail and scrubbing a whole bunch of speed. Ray in front of us ends up like splitting those riders. Like nobody goes down, luckily, but like it was kind of a close call. And our buddy Mike, actually, I don't exactly know what happened, but on this corner coming up, which I guess would be corner number 3, remember how I said there was that manhole cover, or like little water main thing? So he actually, I think what happens is he hits that. You can see him sort of slide across, and he goes down there. So we do actually, like, obviously I know him, so like going around the corner, it was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And like I hear Bill behind me, because he knows him as well, obviously. So it's like, are you okay? So, he gave us a thumbs up. He's like, oh yeah, it's fine. I would have been done, but he was okay. So I guess like racing with all of these guys like multiple times per summer, you get to know them, obviously. So when you see them go down, it's it's slightly worrying. Like you want to make sure that they're okay. So I mean, there are a couple points where I try to I do end up like catching up to Ray and try to close some gaps for him. I don't think I do the greatest of jobs, unfortunately, but it's pretty well cooked. So this is me sort of trying to tail gun a bit. So I'm sort of off the back, and then I kind of like coast up to the corners and just try to be more efficient through the corners, and it does work. Like you see, like I'm much more smooth through that corner than the group, and even through this corner, like I will make up some space, but it does catch up to you, I guess, doing those efforts out of the corners. So I'll let this play a little bit further, but for now I'll be done. So thank you for watching. This was a really long video so far, but if you made it to this point, thank you. I appreciate you, and I will catch you next time.